The Acta Astronautica journal just published an article on a rotating space station design called the Wohnrad. This article is open access under a Creative Commons license. I've linked to it in the video description if you want to read the full study. This is a space station design I haven't seen before, even though it was originally published in a book in 1929. This paper takes another look at the design using modern techniques, including 3D printed physical models of the station. In this video, we'll walk through the design and consider if it's suitable for future commercial rotating space stations. It's worth noting that Vast Space, the company planning to launch Haven 1 station in 2027, have plans for a rotating space station in the 2030s. Perhaps the era of large space stations with artificial gravity could be here sooner than most people think. Noordung, the designer of the Wohnrad space station, was the first person to present detailed technical descriptions and drawings of a complete space station. The paper was written by Dr. Sandra Haeuplik-Meusburger from TU Wien in Austria. In the paper, she reassesses the design by digitally reconstructing the station using the original drawings, designs, images, and text. In this video, we'll cover the unexpected findings about the internal architecture and the use of space within the station. Lessons that are still incredibly useful for future rotating space stations. Long before more famous space station designs such as von Braun station, the Stanford Torus, or the spinning station from 2001 A Space Odyssey, came Noordung's visionary design. We're going to cover everything: habitability, artificial gravity, interior architecture, power generation, stairs and elevators, the complete picture. Okay, let's get started. Location. Noordung proposed that the station should be located in the equatorial plane, directly above the equator, at an altitude of 35,900 kilometers. This orbit matches the Earth's rotation, meaning it remains fixed at the same location in the sky, from the viewpoint of someone on Earth. Today, we call this a geostationary orbit, or GEO for short. The station includes attitude control motors and thrusters to keep the distance to Earth constant, maintain its orientation to the Sun, and even move the entire complex when needed, to avoid orbital debris for instance. Artificial gravity. From the beginning, the design of the space station included artificial gravity, which can be created by spinning or rotating the space station. A large space station is required to avoid the crew feeling dizzy when moving, due to the difference in gravity between their head and feet. The larger a rotating station is, and the further the crew are from the axis of rotation, the more comfortable it is for crew, since centrifugal forces between head and feet are lowered. For long-term habitation of structures in space, gravity is highly beneficial. Human bodies are designed for 1g of gravity. While we can work at lower and even 0g for periods of time, it's not ideal and comes with health penalties such as bone weakening, muscle loss, and eye problems. For large numbers of people to live and work in space, artificial gravity will be needed. The three-part station. Noordung designed the entire station as a three-part system: the habitat wheel, the observatory, and the machine room. All three modules are connected by umbilical cables. The habitat wheel continuously rotates to generate artificial gravity, giving the crew Earth-like living conditions. The observatory remains in a weightless 0g state, allowing for precise observations of distant stars and galaxies. The machine room is also at 0g, housing the main power plant and all the essential technical systems for the station. The living and working areas rotate around the station's center of mass, generating a centrifugal force and providing artificial gravity. The observatory and the machine room are used by the crew to efficiently run the station complex. With today's technology, most of these functions could probably be handled automatically. From Figure 8, we can see the three components of the space station, with a habitat wheel at the front, the machine room at the top, and the observatory on the right. Due to perspective, the machine room appears smaller than the habitat wheel in the graphic, but in reality it's much bigger. The size is about 120 meters, making it 4 times the size of the habitat wheel. The machine room is the largest of the three modules and contains the main mechanical and electrical systems. It contains a solar power plant, large storage batteries, a transmission station, and a ventilation system that serves the observatory. The power plant provides direct current using a system similar to a steam turbine generator. Instead of water, Noordung chose nitrogen as the working fluid. The 120-meter concave mirror is designed to continuously face the sun, maximizing solar exposure and optimizing solar energy collected. The observatory is designed for astronomical observations. Unlike the other two modules, it doesn't have its own integrated power plant. Instead, air, electricity, and heating are supplied from the machine room via cables and flexible tubes. The interior surfaces are soft with handles on the walls that astronauts can use to move around in zero-G. Habitat Wheel. The Habitat Wheel is the main living and working space on the space station complex. It's designed as a large rotating wheel. Noordung's main design objectives were 1. Airlock and cable connections needed to be located at the axis of rotation, where motion is minimal, ensuring stability and ease of access. And 2. The sections designed for artificial gravity must be positioned on the wheel rim where the centrifugal force is greatest. Like the rest of the station, the Habitat Wheel would be built on Earth in modular sections and assembled in orbit. For emergency uses, a small power plant is available. The wheel rim holds all the storage tanks for air, water, food, and supplies. Here's one of Noordung's original drawings of the Habitat Wheel. All the habitable spaces sit inside the wheel and are connected by a circular corridor that runs all the way around. Noordung's design is scalable. The diameter could be larger or smaller depending on the mission. In practice, a smaller diameter makes the artificial gravity more uncomfortable for the crew, while a larger diameter is much easier to live with. Of course, going bigger also increases the size, mass, cost, and complexity of assembly. Noordung lists several functional spaces, such as work and study rooms, a dining room, laboratory, a workshop, as well as a kitchen. Dr. Sandra Haeuplik-Meusburger updated the original layout in Figure 16 to show exactly how the different functional areas are arranged, using a clear color code. Blue is for sleep, yellow hygiene, green is for food, red for work and leisure, and grey for circulation and ancillary spaces. To approximate Earth's gravity for a 30-meter diameter wheel, the wheel completes a rotation every 8 seconds. That's 7.5 revolutions per minute. Down is towards the wheel rim and up is towards the central hub. At floor level, you get 0.94 G, suitable for walking normally. The problem is that while your feet would be experiencing 0.94 G, your head would be at 0.83 G for the average human. This would be a noticeable gravity gradient. A big issue is the rotation speed. At 7.5 revolutions per minute, the Coriolis effect would be clearly perceptible. Turning your head, climbing stairs, or even just moving quickly would cause dizziness for untrained crew. With adaptations, humans can tolerate 10 RPM. Some studies have shown that 26 RPM is possible after 50 days of training, resulting in no dizziness or motion sickness. A long-term crew would likely adapt to the rotation within days or at most a few weeks. It's worth noting that lower G levels may be preferable. One study suggests 0.3 G, similar to Mars, would be a good balance, as crew members can walk upright easily while moving cargo and equipment with less effort. Internal circulation, stairs, elevator, and movement. The outer rim of the Habitat Wheel and the central hub are connected by stairs and electric elevators running inside tubular shafts. The elevators work vertically. However, the design by Noordung would not work properly due to the Coriolis force effects. The elevator cabin would be pushed sideways while moving. The stairs follow a logarithmic spiral, but become steeper approaching the center. This design accounts for decreasing gravitational effects towards the center. This is a clever design, compensating for the reduced gravity, making the steps feel natural while heading towards the central hub. There is a hallway running around the station that connects all the functional spaces together, similar to the famous circular corridor in the 2001 A Space Odyssey movie, the one where the astronauts jog to stay fit. Final thoughts. Noordung's 1929 space station design was the first highly detailed technical specification of a rotating space station with artificial gravity, followed in later decades with many other designs which are more familiar to us today. The design is a valuable resource for future space station designers, especially now that building orbital infrastructure has become a serious focus for space startups and commercial companies. With at least 4 commercial space stations under design or in development, it's likely that the rest of this decade will be about building and operating traditional stationary space stations. Will the 2030s finally become the decade of rotating space stations with artificial gravity? Noordung's Wohnrad design, with a 30-meter diameter wheel rotating at 7.5 RPM, could be one of the first practical rotating space stations we actually build. It's not suitable for quick tourist visits of 1 to 2 weeks, as the adjustment time needed to handle the relatively fast rotation is too long. But for long-term habitation of 6 months or a year, the first 2-week adjustment period would not be a problem. So, what do you think of this remarkable 1929 space station design? Is the 2030s the decade of rotating space stations with artificial gravity? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this space video, consider buying me a coffee to help fund more episodes like this. The link is in the description. Space News Live is on Saturday evening or Sunday morning, depending where you watch from. The live stream is a great way for you to share your thoughts and opinions on the videos I posted this week, or in any space topic in general. I highlight the most thought-provoking comments on videos I received, along with previews of upcoming content. If you got the time, please tune in and say hi. Be sure to like and subscribe so you'll see our upcoming videos. We make videos every week covering the space industry with an emphasis on the smaller space startups that aren't covered so well on other channels. See you soon.